And he ripped up the Nets starting lineup. Woo, a lot to unpack there, Shannon, this morning. What's your response to everything KD had to say?
You sure you don't want to go first on this one? You sure? Are you absolutely certain?
I'll let you take your shots, then I'll take mine.
Okay. Skip, it's a two-part answer for me. I get what KD is saying about the practice. He's saying, Steve, bruh, we need to go harder. There are things that we need to work on. There are things that I need to work on that we're not getting in practice. And that's what he's saying. So I bring it to the coach. Hey, coach, bro, you need to push us a little harder. I can see where we're slacking, and it's costing us late in ball games because we're not being pushed in practice. There are things that I believe that if we worked on in practice, we'll be better in game, late game execution, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Close out, things of that nature.
Yes.
It seems that Steve was not very receptive to that because nothing changed. And he said, well, hell, if it ain't going to change, if you're not pushing me to get better, you're not pushing the team to get better, how the hell can we get better? And then how do we win a championship? So it's like, well, that's why one of the reasons, that's why I didn't really feel bad about requesting a trade, because I saw things that we could get better at that we weren't working on to get better at. So there's the problem with that. But Skip, when he came out and said what he said about his team, Skip, it tells you the disconnect that he has with his teammate. He says, KD said, our starting line is Edmund Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, and Claxton, and me. The only guy that he seemed to have a relationship with or respect for is Nick Claxton. Skip, you've been around the game 40 years. We never address anybody by their whole name. It's always one name, first name, or last name, or it is a nickname. Because I ran calling people nicknames so much, they're like, well, Shannon, you know, our reader's not going to know who that is, so who actually are you talking about?
Correct.
So,
okay, but you do tell me sometimes people call you Sharpe, like with intimacy, like they're close with you.
But not,
Sharpe.
Yes.
Okay, but this didn't come off that way.
Skip,
this felt cold.
Right,
to me.
The entire name.
Yes. Right.
That's what you would say. You would say Dak Prescott.
I would.
You would say Ezekiel Elliott.
I would.
Not a teammate, the teammate.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
And so I'm like, but KD has to understand, Skip. If everybody was like KD wouldn't be special. There's a certain level of expectations that comes along with greatness. We expect you to do things that normal NBA players can't do. That's why you're Kevin Durant. That's why you're 7 foot tall. That's why you can shoot the three, the mid-range, can take the ball to the basket, and when they foul you, you're 90%. KD, you understand that what comes along with greatness is a level of expectation that's only reserved for a certain few. KD happens to be one of those few that level of expectation is thrust upon. Whether you're born great or you have it thrust upon you, it's greatness that we expect from you, KD. And and he says, well, this proves my gut feeling. I don't foresee KD. But like I said, I don't see him being there. I think that you got to move him. But Skip, this is what got me most upset when he talked about leadership.
Yep.
He said, I figured
this would be your flashpoint.
Skip, in 2017, he said, I came to play basketball in the exact same way I'm playing right now.
Yep.
Steph Curry is the face of the franchise, and that helps me out because I don't have to be. I don't want to have to be a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm not bad. I'm bad at saying, stand behind me, follow me. Not one of those guys that's just like that. Skip, he's telling you he doesn't want to be a leader. But then he's a walking contradiction, and then turns around and says, well, I don't have to tell you I'm a leader or show you that I'm a leader. And then he had the nerve to say, Skip, you know, I'm not telling reporters the right things about me. Are you insinuating that other star players or great players in this league are asking reporters to write puff pieces about them, KD? Or say positive things about them?
He is implying that, yes.
That's what I deduced. Now, maybe I'm reading too much.
These other MFs, that's what they need. I don't need that. Yeah.
Skip, he says, I don't mind being at the front of the lines with you, but let's come and do it together. That's my way of leadership. I'm leading by example. Do you want to be a leader or do you not? You don't want to tell Skip. He's like, I don't have to tell, I didn't tell Kyrie what to do, but that's the part about being a leadership. Kyrie, let's do this thing together. You leading by example. Leading by example, sometimes you got to tell Skip, I had LeBron, Skip, what was that? When LeBron said we're top heavy, he didn't call anybody. He said we're top heavy as bleep. And everybody ripped it.
We were at the Super Bowl after the 2016 season, right?
Yes.
So it was February of 2017.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, it was right before the All-Star game. And they had lost, I think they lost to New Orleans. And he said...
He was a Cavalier, obviously. We're top heavy as
bleep.
Okay. And then Barkley ripped him, and he ripped Charles back.
Skip, I don't. But Skip, I mean, KD is a walking contradiction. On one hand, he wants the appreciation and the love and the adulation that comes along with him being a historically great player. But by the same token, he wants none of the criticism that comes along with. That's what happens, Skip. When you win, he went to Golden State. Who got the credit? He did. Because he saved Steph Curry's legacy. He ruined LeBron's legacy. He got the credit. When you lose, give the great players are going to get the blame. Tom is going to get the blame. LeBron's going to get the blame. But Skip, Kevin Durant has been one player that's escaped criticism of the great players when things didn't go right. He's never got the blowback that LeBron has. He's never gotten the blowback that some of these other historically great players have gotten. The Kobe's. James Harden get reamed when he doesn't win. KD just skates right along. I get it. The first part, Skip, I get about the practices and wanting to improve and don't feel the coach is helping me. But this other, you can have that. I can't get down with none of that. I appreciate his honesty and candor, but I can't get down with that.
Okay, I appreciate everything you just said. My turn. I could be wrong about this, but I don't believe anybody in sports media has defended Kevin Durant more than I have.
You're absolutely correct.
I can't say that for just 1,000% certainty, but I'm pretty sure.
Of the people that do what we do,
Yes.
You've been his staunchest defender.
For maybe, heck, we've been on the show for 6 years. Probably all 6 years, I have fought you defending him as the best player on the planet.
Right.
Even though he has taken shot after shot at me and took one the other day. He has taken shots at you.
Yes.
He's taken shots at everybody.
Right.
He constantly bites the hand that has fed him an MVP back in 2014, because the following year at the All-Star break, at the All-Star game, he said, you guys, who all voted for him for MVP, don't know SH about basketball. He once said, I don't know SH about basketball, so maybe I don't. Maybe I'm completely off base in everything I'm about to say. I thought everything he said in both of these two interviews, which came out of the blue after they had gotten blown out at Sacramento and given up 153 points.
Everybody's having confessional. Ben Simmons had a confessional.
No, it's like we all had to confess our sins, I guess. I thought everything Kevin said was pathetic. I thought his comments about why he demanded a trade were pathetic. I thought his comments about leadership were contradictory and pathetic. I thought the shot he took at their starting lineup at Sacramento was completely unnecessary and ultimately pathetic. And I thought his explanation of why he does not need a ring to validate him away from Golden State and Steph and Clay and Draymond was absolutely, completely, utterly pathetic.
He doesn't believe that.
Pathetic. All of it pathetic. He comes across as, don't blame me, just blame that, and then you got to blame that, and then please blame that, and hey, don't look at me, you got to blame that. And hey, I'm just doing the best I can here. That's all I'm doing, and I'm having fun. His theme was, I'm having the time of my life, because who cares what I do? I just want to play basketball.
Right.
I'm one of the greatest players ever, and I just want to be left alone. Let me just go out there and practice hard and play. I don't think he plays hard anymore, because I don't think he really cares about anything but personal statistics. I think he and Kyrie have become ultimate solo acts, because all they want to do is go out and score, which they're both obviously all-time gifted, both gifted. And they'll go out and both will get you 30 a night.
But it don't mean anything.
And it won't mean anything, because they're 6-9 right now. Kyrie's about to come back here in the next few days. And then we'll see. And we're going to discuss all this later. What's the impact of all this? But I'm going to just take it blow by blow, because help me out on the trade. I get what you say. And that was very fair and very objective, what you said, because he does like to practice.
Yes.
He does like to work hard at improving his game on both ends of the floor. I believe all of the above.
Yes.
But it does you no good now to suddenly come out of nowhere, a bolt out of the blue, and what are we, in the middle of November, and suddenly say, well, this is why I asked for a trade, because he says it wasn't difficult at all to request a trade, because it was about ball, okay? It was about ball. It was about Steve Nash, because he's just pointing the finger at that guy saying, he just didn't want to push us hard enough, right? he wasn't dedicated enough to the process of making us a better basketball team because I don't want to just shoot around. I want to practice. So I went to them, and I wasn't complaining about anybody else. I just said, I want to practice harder. Okay.
But it's kind of hard to make what you got 12, 13 guys, and one guy you want to practice hard without making the other guys practice hard, Skip.
Okay. I tried to hang in with him, but I'm going to hark back to what happened at the end of the year last year. And I blamed a lot of it on having not Kyrie for much of the year, and obviously the vaccination, all the controversy over that. And I thought it wrecked the psyche of that team. So I'm giving them that out. But Kevin's just blaming Steve Nash for it, and yet you know and I know they lost 4 straight games to Boston in the first round of the playoffs. I thought they were better than Boston, but obviously Boston was way better on defense than the Nets were on offense. So just to reiterate what happened to Kevin Durant in that series, the first game he goes 9 of 24 and they lose by 1. The second game he goes 4 of 17 and they lose by 7. These are still competitive basketball games. Then he shot okay the last 2 games because he was 45% from the floor. He was 6 of 11 and then 13 of 31. But they continue to lose by 6 and then by 4. Well, it was a disaster because most people thought they were going to win the series to start with, and they got swept. Okay, then once you get swept, you're disqualified from making any excuses about your coach after that. To me, if you want to do it right then and there, I'll listen, but I don't need to wait until the next November after you fall to 6-9 and give up 153 and get blown out at Sacramento. I don't need to hear you say, it was his fault. He just wouldn't push us hard enough. I need to be pushed harder. It sounds good. It plays pretty well in print, actually, and you're buying part of it because that sounds like a dedicated basketball player. But in the end, I don't want to hear the excuse about it. Don't blame it all on Steve Nash. It had something to do with you, and I think it had a lot to do with Kyrie. If you want to blame Kyrie and the vaccination controversy, I'm good with that. But don't tell me it was his fault, because then he did turn around. He was demanding that both Kerr and Sean Marks, the GM, be fired. Remember, that was his next ultimatum. Okay? I don't want to hear it. It doesn't do any good. It's water under the bridge. It's last year. It's old excuses. You're trying to make an old excuse for your current situation. But he's saying now, oh, we're very happy. Really? Well, you're 6-9. Okay? Let's do the lineup next.
That was hard, Skip.
It's just horrible.
That's bad.
You can't do this.
That's bad.
Okay, so he's saying, don't look at me just because I'm out there. You think we're going to win? Yeah, I do. I think you're the best player on the planet. Yes, at Sacramento. I know Sacramento's got young talent. It's all upcoming. Sabonis is giving them a new spark. I get all that. And I know at home they can be pretty hard to beat. They've given the Lakers hell. Okay, I get all that. If I'm still thinking you're the best player on the planet, I think you got a shot, you know? Like, I don't think you should give up 153 points. No. Because you're 7 feet tall, and at least you can play a little bit of defense. They played I watched it.
They played none. They played none.
Okay, and he just goes through the motions now. He looks semi-retired to me. Let me just get my shots. Let me get my points. If I can get my 27, 28, 29, he's averaging 30. Just somewhere in there, make it look good, then I'm good to go. Don't blame me. Don't look at me. Just because number 7's in the lineup? Yeah.
Skip, when you say, look at our starting lineup and Edmund Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Skip, you remember when James Harden wanted to get out? And he said what he said about his team? We're not better. We're not that team. You look at us and look at them. Kevin Durant basically said, look, get me out. Skip, how do you go in the locker room after you said, if I'm Royce O'Neal, I get it, I'm never going to beat Kevin Durant. But, bruh, if I'm Sumner, if I'm these guys, how do I look at him? How do I look at Kevin Durant the same after he said, now, no, look, what you say in public, behind closed doors is one thing. But this man said this in print. This is here forever.
It is.
But, Skip, I told you, no one has escaped criticism because guess who got blamed in OKC? Russ. Guess who got blamed? James Harden, Kyrie, all alone.
I mean, he did get blamed for leaving Russ high and dry. He took a lot of criticism for joining forces with Golden State. I don't believe
he would have caught the criticism had he gone anywhere else other than Golden State. But the fact of the matter is, Skip, is that he says that he's not a leader. Skip, how many times have he, in an interview or in print, says, I'm not a leader, and then turns around and says, I don't got to prove to you guys that I'm a leader. You said you're not a leader. You said you didn't want to be a leader, KD. That's not something we're making up. Those are the words that come. So it's kind of like Barkley. Barkley said I was misquoted in my own autobiography.
Yeah.
Were you misquoted? Did somebody? I could have sworn. This is what he said in 2017. He says, I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a leader. I'm bad at saying, follow me. Then he turns around and says, I'm a leader. I ain't got to prove nothing to y'all.
That is true. I'm going to read the bulk of this quote, if you will allow me to do this. I think we have a full screen so that you at home can follow along with us. But here's what we have. This is the guts of this quote. I'm not a leader? What the F does that mean? A lot of people say I'm not a leader because I didn't tell Kyrie to get vaccinated. Come on. Or I didn't condemn Kyrie for leaving the team, going out and living his life. I'm not about to tell a grown-ass man what he can and can't do with his own life and dissect his views or how he thinks about SH. I don't need to show or tell everybody what I'm doing with my teammates so y'all can pump me up and say, yeah, KD, you're the boss, you're the leader. These other you-know-whats need that. I don't. I don't come to you and say, Haynes, this is Chris Haynes, obviously friend of our show.
Yep.
Haynes, write this story about me. I don't do that to nobody, but I come here and respect y'all. I talk to y'all like a real one, even after a blowout loss. Okay, I'm not even sure where that's heading in about leadership. He's not saying he is a leader, really. He's just saying, I don't need to act like a leader to be a leader. I don't need to try to tell you I'm a leader.
So I don't want to have to be a leader. I'm not a leader. So Skip, so what am I supposed to take from that? If somebody says this is not what I am, I don't want to be what you're saying that I am. I'm not what you said I am. So what am I supposed to do with that? Skip, if you told me, Shannon, I'm not your leader. Well, what am I? Man, Skip, you the leader, Skip. But I just told you I didn't want to be a leader. I just want to come here and do my thing. Just let me do my thing. But hey, I don't want to tell a grown-ass man what to do when you damn sure trying to tell Steve Kerr how to run practice. If Steve Kerr not
Steve
a grown
Nash, yeah.
Steve Nash, excuse me. If Steve Nash not a grown man, you had no problem trying to tell him.
Fact.
But you didn't want to tell Kyrie.
Fact.
Okay, I'm just making...
Okay, so he constantly refers to a lot of people say I'm this or that. A lot of people say I'm not a leader because I didn't tell Kyrie to get vaccinated. Okay, to me, Kevin is the ultimate Twitter victim where he just stays on Twitter. He's constantly answering people on Twitter. And when he says a lot of people say, I don't think media people said that. I think whoever those people are on Twitter said that.
Skip, everybody should say it because he said it. It's not no we made this up. It's not like Chris Haynes or whomever has ever said Kevin Durant is not the leader. He said, I'm not a leader. So what else are we supposed to do with that?
Yeah, but he's pinning it to why didn't he tell Kyrie to get vaccinated? That would have been leadership. And he's saying, well, I'm not going to tell a grown-ass man what to do.
But Skip, but like I said, that's also a part of leadership. Leadership is sometimes not to say Kyrie would have done it, but a part of leadership is having tough conversations with teammates.
Yep.
That's a part of leadership. But because you said in 2017 you're not a leader, I didn't expect him to do anything because he's already told me. He just wants to lay in the back.
Right.
Because when you're a leader, guess who gets blamed when things go wrong? The leader.
Okay, I will buy that. I've never fought you on that. I've never 1 second on this show said, no, you're wrong, Kevin's a leader. I don't think he ever wanted to be a leader. I don't think he has natural-born leadership qualities.
Right.
LeBron does. He's got some issues when it comes to leadership because sometimes LeBron has too thin of skin and it leaks over into the rest of the team. But the point is, LeBron's a way better leader than Kevin ever thought about being because he doesn't think about being.
Right.
And we've seen great players. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was not a leader. Wilt was not a leader. They put up spectacular numbers and did spectacular things in this league.
Right.
But they just came out and did their job every night, and they didn't want any other responsibility. Same with this guy. He just wants to hoop. He doesn't want any off-court responsibility. He wants to go home and play video games. He talked about how happy he is. That's fine with me.
Right.
So I don't accept that. I mean, expect that from him.
Right.
But again, it takes away from his overall greatness. When we talk about top 10, I never bring up Kevin Durant as a top 10 player.
Nor should you.
But when we go head-to-head with LeBron on who's the better basketball player,
right.
I have fought for Kevin until he crapped out in those 4 games against Boston, and now I don't say that.
But, Skip, think about what LeBron was able to do with the Cleveland in 2018.
Agreed. I buy that.
Skip, he took the 2017. That team had no business in the damn finals. That 2018 team had no business in the finals. I don't care who else is in the East.
Okay.
LeBron James and that crew should not have been in the NBA Finals.
Okay, so I will go to my grave defending Kevin on one point. I do believe he went and saved Steph's legacy, and I believe he helped wreck LeBron's legacy, took 2 rings away from him because he was back-to-back Finals MVP. But he didn't go there to lead them on and off the court. The culture was already set in motion. Steph was a leader. I think Draymond at that point is a leader. I think Steve Kerr is a strong, powerful leader within the confines of that culture. So all the leadership was in place. They just needed talent. They needed a 7-foot difference maker. They needed that. They needed a nuclear weapon to say, okay, LeBron, try on this. You know, and that's what Kevin just got to go hoop, and he hooped at the highest level.
When they lost to Milwaukee, Kevin Durant had a 2-0 lead. They lost the Game 7 on their home court.
They did.
Everybody talked about Kevin Durant toe on the line.
They
forgot to mention that he lost the Game 7 on his home court. And they see it was always when Kyrie was hurt. James Harden was a shell of himself.
Okay, I got it. But he did have some valid excuses there. But in the big picture, the one that got me was this one last year. Because at this point, and then the final point's about the ring. I don't need a ring to validate me away from Golden State. Shannon, he's talking like a guy who is done, like he's semi-retired. I'm making great money. I have a blast. I just want to go out and play basketball.
Kevin Durant doesn't believe that. Everybody knows.
No,
Skip, and deep down inside, we know us the best. He knows without everybody says that Golden State. He got upset when Charles Barkley called him a bus rider. Say, you not the driver, you a bus rider. He knows that in order to get full validation, he's got to do it without Steph Curry. He's got to do it without that culture in Golden State.
But he's saying, hey, I make whatever it is, $50 million a year. I'm good.
You can make $100 million a year. But in basketball terms, it's not how much you make. It's all about them championships.
Yeah. He said his legacy is set.
Okay. You believe that. If you believe that, you're historically great. You're a transcendent player, Kevin Durant. But you know how you're ultimately going to be judged. Steph Curry.
Yep. I got it.
I know you guys are fired up about this, but I have to jump in. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the Net starters respond to KD's comments when they play in Portland at the Moda Center tonight, because that is definitely a hostile environment.
Just passing the ball.
All right, Skip. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.